Alright. And we're back with a little bit more Faust. Now, if I remember correctly from last time, we had just finished up the Bluebird of Happiness. And we got the key to the 3rd floor. There, that's a little bit better. And have a chocolate. Alright. And Sybil's back. Chapter 3. The Adventure of Pinocchio. A large mirror. Sweet. It's always good to have matches. Height restriction was written in paint. Scholar. Key to the display room. Oh. That was on the 2nd floor. No, that was on the 1st floor. Opening hours. 4/16. Overcast day. Alright, so that's everything in this half. Let's head to the other wing. A map drawn in crayon. The cat meowed as if it wanted to prevent Elizabeth from randomly drawing on it. Infirmary. Bathroom. Sybil's room. So this should be the bathroom. It's locked. Goodness. It seemed to still be functional, but there was no light bulb inside. Lamb. 2-digit number lock. Well, that's it for this wing of the 3rd floor. If I remember right. Because one of these was the piano room, and I think the display room down at the bottom floor, right? So let's go check that out. Carving on the pedestal. Started clawing on the carpet as soon as it came in. Star-shaped toy. Large amounts of stuffed animals. So I got the light bulb. Little one, shine your ringing light was engraved on the box. Lift the bed covers. A pair of scissors were stabbed into the stuffed bear. Don't have anything to say about the hanging doll. All of the stars, chairs, and rabbits in this room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stars. And then, what was the other one? Chairs. So, 2 chairs. Yeah, now, how many rabbits do we got? So, we got 1 rabbit there. I think that's a rabbit, so that's 2. Three over here. 1, 2, 3. Let's call it 4 and see how that looks. Okay, so that gray one was a rabbit. Will slowly die from continued exposure to air. Since when had the doll not been in her hand? That's a good question. I don't think we had it in that room either. The scissors are gone. Well, we got a light bulb, so let's go over to the lamp here. It was that person, the one we met in the mirror room. Elizabeth slowed her footsteps, and an inexplicable sense of foreboding told her not to get any closer. But she couldn't remember why. She asked, "What are you looking at?" The one in the shadows did not react and stared motionless towards the front. The person suddenly looked at her. "You." Elizabeth shook her head. "No, I mean before you turned around." Felt a bit ill at ease as the starkly white face turned back again without blinking. But at least she had a response, so Elizabeth gathered up her courage and continued to ask, "Who are you? Do you live here? Do you know how to get out of here? You..." The large hat brim suddenly walked over. She thought they would finally interact but the one only walked away, swiftly upright. Then she saw the doll she had always been carrying. For some reason, it was in the crook of the one's arm. It's mine. Glaring at Elizabeth, the sharp-eyed owner said, leaving with an eerie air of melancholy accompanied. Okay. So that figure had our face when we were in the mirror room there. And the question is it a doppelganger of us? Okay. 0829? Is that what the code is there? A clock hand. Teddy. I think there's some text missing from this, or a font missing that isn't allowing me to see it. I'll have to look up a walkthrough if I can't figure out what that is. No, I think it was this one, right? 416. Looks like the minute hand from a clock. So let's head down to the clock room and change the time. Don't worry about that anymore. Well, the clock struck 4. that was the wrong room. It's the next one. Alright, that worked. God damn it. Can I have Sybil back? Okay, so this one is 8, 6, 4, 1. $86 minus 41 maybe? For that 2-digit combo? So that'd be 45. Blank sheet of paper. The Teddy lock. Okay, so where was... This has to do with the different teddy bears in the room then. Hold on while I look that up. Okay. So, I looked up a little bit about the teddy bear puzzles there. I think Oh, I forgot about the key. Shit. Well, I deserve that. I walked right into it. So is there just nothing in here? And now there's a door. Alright. Oh, what's in here? That's not good. I got a note. Oh shit. Lunger. Okay. The man brought a pair of twins with him. They were the ones that the doctor took in before the nursing home closed. They were products that hadn't been sold yet. Plans had already been made for them elsewhere, but that man thought that retaining them would help solve our current problem. I'm very suspicious of their origins, so I'm a bit worried. But Elizabeth's manners and upbringing were quite good, and she is willing to go along with our instructions. Margaret was very stable after seeing her. I think we can temporarily handle it like this. The other child's condition isn't as good, however. Okay. Rules for assigning sick beds. Angelica. Fear of loneliness needs to stay with the crowd. Benstein, claustrophobia, cannot remain within a closed space. Frederick values privacy. Hilden, traumatized from disaster, mindful of exits. Emmerich doesn't like people. Well, you want a face? Yeah, that's much better. I think I might have an eye for you. As for your mouth... Okay, good. Not a faucet. I may have to come back with something else for you. But... now we got the clue we needed. Is it this room? Yes. What are you doing in there? Come on out. Why don't you play with us? Come on out. There's just going to be a bit of pain. Come on out. You have to be a good sport if you play. Come on out. Come on out. Do I get to live? They seem to be leaving. Shit! I guess that was the wrong thing to do. A tightly shut eye was on the key handle. Okay, you're on every picture now, aren't you? Now, the tightly shut eye, I believe, was on the third floor over here. The house has started to suffer some destruction. The walls are defaced with crayons. I found my diary in places where it shouldn't be. Sometimes the child will silently stare at one thing all day. The few times in which the child wasn't so gloomy, she would stare at the doll. I feel frightened, but there's no other way. And so, Pinocchio became a real boy. His eyes were filled with light, and his limbs were soft and palatable. With the gold coins that the fairy gave him, the carpenter became rich as well. Everyone lived together happily. An inner tube. Okay. Orientation has to do with the observation or recognition of time, place, people, and one's own condition. The former is labeled as environmental orientation, and the latter self-orientation. Spatial orientation involves identifying whether it is currently day or night, morning or afternoon, and what year, month, and day it is. Geographic orientation denotes familiarity to one's current location. People's orientation indicates the analysis of the identity of those in the patient's immediate surrounding. Self-orientation is the knowledge of the patient's own name, gender, age, profession. Many brain afflictions will cause the patient to develop obstacles in decision-making and orientation. Obstacles in orientation are significant barometers of consciousness obstacles. But obstacles in orientation do not necessarily indicate consciousness obstacles. For instance, alcoholic patients may also develop obstacles to orientation. Dual orientations mean simultaneously experiencing two kinds of either environmental, time, place, or people. One of the experiences is correct, and the other is a result of delusional determination or explanation. A patient could believe that their current location is both a hospital and a jail, or that it is a hospital on the surface but a jail in reality. Plaque bacteria take up residence in rats and other small mammals. The spread to humans via plague, not plaque. Via infection, spread to humans via infected fleas on the animal. If intimate contact is established with the skin of an infected animal, then the infection may spread through bites and scratches. If the virus spreads to the lungs, it will spread through the saliva. At Elizabeth's insistence, the other child has stayed as well. We agreed not to separate them. The man filled out the paperwork for adopting the two children, but we only know Elizabeth to appear in front of Margaret. So I usually stand outside the door with the other. Margaret focuses only on where is her child. Her thought process regarding significance is not as clear. I know this isn't a good thing, but she smiled at me. A locked safety deposit box. EHFAB was carved. What on earth is that person looking at? Elizabeth thought, but didn't have the courage to ask, so she stooped down. The person's empty eyes remained vacant hollows. It didn't waver from the mirror, even with an additional person next to oneself. Hey, Elizabeth said, "This is for you." She took out some chocolate. "It's really good," she said. "I don't want it." "What do you want?" She wasn't sure, so thought for a long while before responding, "I have a lot." Liar. The person underneath the big hat stood up and threw out a mystifying accusation. Then, as if the conversation had never happened, tapped away on silent footsteps. The water started automatically flowing out of the faucet after it was connected. Okay. So I still need a nose for that guy. But I think we'll leave it there for now. And we'll find the nose in the next episode.